Just a reminder for anybody who may have some trouble with the sound, because I got yet another headset so that I can record with. If you have trouble, look, the best thing you guys can do is donate. And I want to send a quick thank you to the latest person to donate to me. And I'm going to do this. Whenever people donate, I want to thank them publicly. You are Raghav Chopra. So I hope I pronounced your first name correctly. But Raghav, you patriot, you said to me, quote, "Keep up the good work. I support you 100%. Thank you very much, my brother." Now, and you know, keep donating. Donate because these donations will help me. I want to make my own website, get better microphones, all that stuff. So don't complain about the sound or the lighting or all that stuff. Donate so that I can make things better for viewing for you guys. Now on to the subject. So Joe Biden has entered the Democrat race to be the Democrat nominee in 2020. I haven't been following the Democrat primaries. It's not interesting to me. They're all crazy. I wouldn't vote for any one of them. You got Joe Biden in there, Kamala Harris, who I cannot stand her. But okay, fine, whatever. She's a human being. You got the one from Maryland. I think Bill de Blasio's in there. Okay, now I'm making this video because while it is a fact that black folk, especially young black folk in my generation, are turning away from this lock, stock, and barrel blind loyalty to the Democrats. I mean, I'm telling you, the next 50, 60 years, you're not going to see 90% black support for the Democrats. It's not going to, knock on wood. Knock on wood. Okay, there's a wooden table here, my father's grand desk. He allows me to record in here, providing I don't mess anything up. Knock on wood, that's what's going to happen. But black folk, for the time being, still vote pretty large numbers for the Democrats. And that's not going to change anytime soon. It will gradually change. But I tell you, if you guys can't get yourselves to vote for anybody else, I mean, I haven't endorsed anyone for 2020, so I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. In Canada, I'm an independent. In America, I'm an independent. I'm an independent, okay? People think I'm a conservative. I'm an independent. Many of my views are right. But look, I would probably lean towards supporting Donald Trump again. I supported him in 2016. I may end up endorsing him again, providing he doesn't, screw anything up too much until I make my final decision. There's no way I can support any of the Democrats. But black folk, if you cannot bring yourself to not vote Democrat, I'm telling you, don't vote for Joe Biden. Creepy Uncle Joe Biden. I mean, not because he's a creep. I mean, all men are creeps in some aspect or another, okay? Don't pretend like you're not. But, Joe Biden is responsible for one of the worst pieces of legislation to ever be signed into law in the United States. It has affected millions and millions of people, mostly minorities, mostly black folk, and that is the crime bill. Now, the crime bill does have good aspects to it, and I will grant you that the crime bill did lower crime to a certain extent. But when it comes to drug crimes especially, it has destroyed families, it has destroyed communities, it has destroyed a lot of different things. Destroyed it. And I think it's actually made things worse. I have been a big believer. I've always been a big believer that if somebody is addicted to drugs, not selling drugs, not doing any of that stuff, but addicted to it, they have a sickness, okay? And now you're going to come up here, some privileged suburbanite is going to come up here and say, well, if they didn't start doing it in the first place, then they would not be addicted to it. And I say this, look, we have been taught since the moment we come out of our mother's womb that drugs is such an evil and wicked thing. We've been taught that. I mean, from the time I was this high, my mama was telling me drugs are bad. They're evil. They're wicked. Don't do it. The television tells you don't do it. The teacher tells you don't do it. The preacher tells you don't do it. Your grandma and grandpa tell you don't do it. Everybody tells you don't do drugs. Nancy Reagan said, just say no. Everybody tells you not to. So, I mean, really, look, anybody with sense in their head would not even think about starting doing drugs. But if you actually start doing crack or meth or any of those stuff, LSD, mushrooms, whatever, I mean, you must be crazy to even try something like that. I mean, even to get involved in the peer pressure, it's like it's been hammered into us. It's almost like drinking paint. You have to be crazy to even start doing that. And then you get addicted to it. I think it's a sickness. You shouldn't go to jail for it. You need help. You need Jesus. You need the church. You need drug rehabilitation. You don't need jail, because the moment you go to jail, you learn how to do other things. First of all, you go to jail. This is what happens when you go to prison. Bill Clinton signs this thing into law. He starts sending people to long periods of time in prison. First of all, you have to join a gang if you're in prison. You won't survive if you're not part of something, whether you're black or you're white. White supremacist, neo-Nazi, Black Panther, Bloods, Crips, whatever. You have to. So you learn how to be a gang member. Then you have to learn how to fight. Then you learn how to take more drugs. And then it just gets worse. Prison is not a place for people who are mentally sick, because you are just making it worse. It's almost like you're just putting all the mentally ill people in an environment where they can just encourage each other. And that's what the crime bill did with people. And as a result, it ruined families. It ruined people who had potential. It didn't address the problems that they had. Sickness. They were addicted to drugs. They're sick. They need help. I've always stated, look, I've always said that when there's a certain crime someone does, yes, you need to be punished, but there also needs to be a bit of treatment with that. If you stab somebody, you go to jail, and I think you'll go straight to anger management. There's something, you're angry enough to stab someone, you need to go to anger management. If you're on drugs, don't go to jail, or go to rehab, do that stuff. I mean, I strongly believe that. Let's drain it out of the system instead of just constantly harping on about punishment. Joe Biden signed, and as a result, look, the thing is, black folk, and I'm talking because black folk, you guys vote for the Democrats. Look, there isn't a black family in America who doesn't know somebody who's in jail. That's just the truth. Probably two people who don't know somebody who's in jail. In America, in the United States, every black family in the United States has at least one member of the family in jail. Whether it's drugs or whatever. Instead of getting the help they need, and not like little soft, cuddly bunnies and this and that, and making excuses for. I don't believe in that namby-pambiness. I don't believe in that either. I mean, strong, tough help. They need it. Hypnotherapy, something. Isolation, whatever it is, they need it. They're not getting it. They're just being thrown to the wolves in the prison system for crimes that really could be treatable. Look at Portugal, for example. I mean, drugs are decriminalized in Portugal, and they have one of the lowest drug uses on the entire planet. Joe Biden is responsible for all that. Joe Biden's biggest accomplishment is locking up black folk. And Bill Clinton along with it. He signed it into law. I didn't know Joe Biden wrote the damn law. He wrote it. He wrote the crime bill of 1994. He actually wrote it. Bill Clinton signed it. Hillary Clinton encouraged people to support it, calling people super predators and all this. Personally, I really don't have a problem with what she said about super predators, because, I mean, look, if you break the law, you're a super predator in my eyes. But the thing is that, always looking to prisons hasn't helped America. In fact, it's made things worse in America. America has one of the highest prison populations out there. Most of them are drug related. And I don't see crime. I mean, yes, for the most part, you've got cities like New York City, Washington, D.C., which used to be very murder capitals, which, you're not going to get mugged and stuff as much. But I mean, look at Chicago, look at Detroit, even Los Angeles, I mean, even Memphis. A lot of the crime has gone to the small towns now. And the thing is that I think the system is ignoring a lot of crimes that other privileged people do. But they're just focused on these mega cities, and the crime is actually spreading out to much smaller cities. That's what's happening here. They're not addressing the problem. People are just going through a cycle of system, and as a result, you go to prison, you can't get a job, you can't get hired for anything, you can't be involved in this organization, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just prison and out, prison and out, this and that, and the cycle just continues itself. Why not stop the cycle? But the crime bill doesn't do that. Joe Biden signed that. Black folk, you shouldn't vote for Joe Biden. If he were to ever get the Democrat nominee, and I think he's the one who's going to get it, all the rest of them are just completely out of control. Crazy, man. I mean, come on. Kamala Harris. I don't know if Cory Booker. Who else is in there? Let me look. Man, I don't even try to follow the Democrats. They are just... The left in America has gone completely out of control. They are just... It's almost like they're crazy or something. You've got... Cory Booker did put himself in there. Joe Biden... Julian Castro, Bill de Blasio, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Kirsten Gillibrand. You know who I actually do like? Mike Gravel. He's in there. He's from California, I think. He put himself in there. Honestly, if I was a Democrat, I'd go for Mike Gravel. I know a lot of people haven't heard about him. He used to be a libertarian, and I think he's very underrated, Mike Gravel. If I was a Democrat, I'd go for him. John Hickenlooper, I've never heard of him before. Amy Klobuchar, Wayne Messam, Seth Moulton, Beto O'Rourke, Tim Ryan, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. I mean, all these people are crazy. They're all insane. They're all insane. Don't vote for any Democrat who voted for the crime bill. Bernie Sanders voted for it too. He voted for it. Joe Biden wrote it, and I think he's going to be the nominee. Black folk. If Joe Biden is the Democrat nominee, if you have any self-respect, you won't vote for him. You can vote for any other party if you don't have to vote for Trump if you don't want to. Vote Green, vote for some other smaller party. And there's a lot of black folk in America. If they all park their vote to someone else, that person would most likely be very successful, if not win. So it's not like you're doing anything, worthless of any kind. I'm telling you, if you have self-respect, you would not support Joe Biden. I mean, a lot of people call me Uncle Tom and all this stuff because simply for the reason that I don't call myself a Democrat or a left-winger. Because I'm an independent, okay? I'm not even conservative. People say, oh, because you don't kiss the backside of the left wing all over the place, all over the world, whether it's left wing in Canada or in the United States. Not so many people call me those things in Canada because Canadian black folk think differently from black folk in America. They don't believe in Uncle Toms and all this stuff. They're much more independent than black folk in America. But black folk in America love to just dish that word out to me. Uncle Tom this. You're the Uncle Tom if you vote for Joe Biden. He has locked up your family members, and he would do so again if he got the power. He hasn't changed a bit. This is one of those new Democrats. This is one of those, establishment, Bill Clinton type of Democrats who support the Iraq War, the crime bill. One of those compromised Democrats who you would be supporting if he were to get the nomination. Don't allow him the satisfaction, okay? That's all I have to say on this issue. Somebody who wrote something like the crime bill, which has been one of the most destructive things for the black and minority community since slavery, does not deserve our support. This is the Orana Nation.